Hello, guys. I am Shane Davis, and I am here today with Yanzi, and we are going to talk about Erik Larsen having what I would think is a meltdown. I don't know what to say. It's like 2016 is getting ready to happen all over again. The thing is about comic people is, and this goes back with me, one of my first interactions with SJWs on Twitter was saying that I didn't want to draw political comics anymore. I never wanted to do it again. And I was shamed by people like SJW Spider-Man and other people, Hank Pym, something another. And they were yelling at me like, that's your duty as a comic book artist, is to draw a politics in comics. This was a real conversation around, I don't know, it was 2016 era. Why? Because I did a Catwoman Election Day special. And I asked these people, well, did you see or read my past political comic? The one I did, the one comic in my entire career. And they said, no, I didn't know you did one. And I'm like, that's my point. That's why I don't want to do them. They age like bread, like they're not timeless comics. And they're like, well, you should do more. And then I eventually read those. And this was a real thing. Now, today, we're, obviously coming up into a political time. Politics are in comics like never before. I don't think in my entire life have I seen people so politically divided and bringing that into their comics. So today we're going to talk about a tweet by Erik Larsen. But first, who is Erik Larsen? If you're new to this channel, please hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. You want to tell people a little bit about Erik Larsen, Yanzi?
Well, Erik Larsen was one of the founders of Image Comics, and right now his position is the Chief Financial Officer, which is a pretty high ranking, I would say. Now, for
Right.
people who do remember, though, Image has recently had all their workers at unionized, and they just want to be able to gatekeep what books Image can publish. So at this point, I would say poor Erik Larsen under the thumb of the SJWs, except we know that he has drawn Savage Dragon with Biden before, so we know which side his politics are on.
He's a little bit more up under the thumb because he said he didn't want to read swapped out characters. Remember that tweet? And SJW
Oh, yeah.
crucified him for saying, why? You don't want to read no Riri Williams? He's like, no, I want to read Tony Stark. And they had a field day with him. So now he has to be more of a puppet once again. And what did he tweet today?
All right, I'm going to read this tweet, but I'm going to omit some words because I do not need the FBI coming after me. Donald Trump being beep for treason on the White House lawn is a closure America needs to start the healing process. So, yikes. All right, now before we even go any further, Erik Larsen basically committed, I think it really is a crime. There is a code in the US law system saying that threats against former presidents the person shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 5 years or both. Now people might say, no, he's just making a hypothetical. It's not really a threat. But I'm sure you remember Kathy Griffin and holding Donald Trump's severed head. Remember that skit? And she had to be investigated by the FBI and all that stuff.
Right.
So my first issue is that for me, I'm a Singaporean, still a Singaporean. And I'm not a fan of any American politicians. I don't care whether you're left or right. It's just a big mess to me, this whole left and right thing. But I think this divide now, especially basically asking for actual execution of someone on the other party just because of hearsay. Because, all right, we all know what triggered this. It was the raid on Mar-a-Lago that happened a couple of days ago. All right. And they say he has so-called classified documents and so on and so forth. Now, here's the thing, though, people. At this point, we are really going against one of the main cause of American law, and that is innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
So do we even know what Trump has in his possession? Are they really classified documents? Do we know what they are? But here, everyone is saying, we must have his head because, Trump, y'all.
Right. And I'm not going to go too deep into politics here because that's not exactly what we do on this channel. But I do want to point out something that's very scary. And maybe I'm a little old fashioned, but there was this thing that used to get said a lot. And it was like, don't talk politics, don't talk religion. It's bad for business. This is not good for business. Hypothetically, worst case scenario, you are ostracizing or dismissing anywhere between 50% to 30% of your potential customers. And the reality is there's really no business that can afford to lose 30 to 50% of their business. Most businesses aren't that profitable. And even if they can afford to lose 50 to 30%, that's idiotic. The whole point of business, and when comics have gotten so far away from this, and we talk about it on this channel, all the woke driven material that the comic industry is putting out there, is it's not profitable and it's not really about making profit. But at the same time, the direct market is getting ready to collapse. And when I say collapse, probably by the end of the year, going into the front of next year, we're going to see DC Comics, not DC Comics anymore, it's DC.com. And we're going to see probably like Jim Lee not working at DC Comics anymore. And with DC Comics, over 50% of their books not even cracking the top 100. If you're the new owner of DC Comics, you're looking at that and you're like, well, half of what we do does nothing but lose money. Why are we doing this? Over half. And this thing that Erik Larsen tweeted out really is a great example of how the American comic book industry's been operating for years. And it's doing nothing but driving customers away. It's doing nothing but telling people it's just a bad look, because it doesn't even look like you're trying to sell a story or concept or an idea, really. It looks like you're just trying to divide people and say these people can, I want your money, these people I don't want your money. And that's the point of money, is you want money, period. It's not the people behind it. It's just you want their money. You want them as customers. That's how a business is going to grow. It's how a business is going to survive. You're going to have to make profit and reinvest profit into business to do future projects, future gains, future capital.
So let's look at this tweet right here. This reply to Erik Larsen by Gamer Gentry. Very insightful comment, Erik. It makes me realize exactly why I've cancelled most of the comics on my pool from the big three. Most of you have been physically unable to stop talking about Trump for the last 6 to 7 years. You are utterly obsessed.
And that's how a lot of comic readers feel. We did a video recently about a comic retailer that put a flag on a book that they couldn't sell. They stapled an acetate American flag on it, and then they were able to sell that book for lots of money. You have to understand, there are patriots in this country. There are people and conservatives that do want to buy material and book. And if you ostracize them, why sell less books? If you're going to produce a book and you've done all the work of the book, why then go take a piss on half the buying audience? It makes no sense whatsoever. It's actually the worst business decision anybody in his position at a company. I mean, he's a VP, he's a treasurer, whatever. It's a bullshit title. But still, this is the tweet of a toddler, and he's like got a high position in the company. Like, what does this do? Like, thank God I'm not at Image with a book right now, because like, wow, this guy is speaking for all of Image Comics in a weird way, because that he's a founder. You have a responsibility to speak for the company when you're a founder of a company. He has literally a title in the company. He is speaking for the company in a weird way. It's obviously a lack of professionalism from Erik Larsen, but what do you hope to gain from this? Like, what is the gain? You're going to get more Democratic dollars? Is that what you think? You're going to boost, because you've been doing this for like years. I don't get the point of this. The other thing is, again, I don't want to get way too into politics, but he's obviously been drawing like Biden and Savage Dragon a lot. And it's like, obviously he has political leanings. This isn't just an opinion. This is propaganda or something. I don't know. What's your thoughts, Yanzi?
My basic thought on this is, you know what? Why don't we just make comics about comics itself? You want to have a political opinion, that's fine, but kind of keep it to yourself a bit, and definitely don't put it in your comic book itself, because after all, people are paying money for it. You can have an opinion on something that is free that people don't have to pay for, but you want to have an opinion within something that people got to pay their money for? No, that doesn't work.
And definitely don't go to Twitter and do something criminal like this. Like,
it is actually, he's really breaking the law at this point. So sure, why not? Yeah.
Anyways, if you guys will, please look down below, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and we will keep up on this comic news as we hold hands in the last days of the direct market. I will catch you guys again with another video.